I was adamant that I would not do it, and there was a lot of, you're never gonna work again, and I'm gonna make sure this happens, and a lot of name calling, and it was quite harsh, and I was quite young and new to the industry.
Well, Michelle, I was literally about to break into Destiny's Child then. Like, Michelle, can you handle this?
I would have welcomed that.
Well, where do we even begin? Because in other words of an immortal icon, let's go, girls, because the White Lotus does not mess about, does it? It does not beat around the bush. Drama from the first scene. It's horny. It's so many fraught relationships. There's so much going on. When you first got that script and that email being like, the White Lotus,
Yeah.
were you like jumping up and down screaming?
I was
need
jumping
to be in
up and
this.
down. I was so excited, honestly. I got the call from my agent that they were casting and that they wanted to have me audition for the role of Jaclyn. And I was even just surprised at that. I didn't know that they were casting, and I was so excited, and obviously a huge fan of the show and a longtime fan of Mike White. And so auditioned, and even just getting the snippets of the sides, of the audition sides, to have a glimpse into what season 3 was going to be, I felt so privileged. I was so excited, and and that specific storyline, I was thought, wow, this is really compelling, really complicated, and then I got the call like 10 days later that I got the gig, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been in this industry for 25 years. It was a pinch me moment. I was with my husband when I found out. I shed a tear. I was thrilled, to be able to collaborate with Mike, and shortly thereafter, they sent me the entirety of the 8 episodes.
Oh my God, great.
I got all of them, and I jumped on a flight to Australia because we were going there for Christmas to visit my husband's family. And I did not sleep that entire flight. I read, front to back, and it was one of the most exciting reads. I got to essentially binge watch, read the show, and I couldn't believe the writing once again. Like, he just brought it in even kind of bolder new ways that we see in season 3. And I was really just excited about the storyline that I got to be a part of.
So as a fan, you were thrilled. You were like, I've got all the plot spoilers.
Are you kidding
in
me?
my hand.
In my hand. I mean, I'm like, sitting on a plane next to my kids, and I'm like, nobody even really knows. Like, this is so exciting. I remember getting off the plane, and I was just thrilled. And I got on the phone actually with Parker Posey, who I knew that was going to be in the film, and we were talking about, just our good fortune, and Leslie as well. We jumped on the phone, and Walton. It was just, we were all just really excited.
Was there a bit on the plane where you were like gasping? Where people
kind
were like,
of. I mean, I can't wait for us to get to that, because right now we're just, at the beginning of the season where we're establishing storyline, and once you get into kind of the nuts and bolts of the series, midway through, there are some serious things that, you wouldn't have thought, but only Mike White can get away with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we love a plot twist.
Ooh, there's some plot twists.
We love a plot twist.
That's right.
And I just love that this is the ultimate girls' trip, or it starts off as the
Yes.
ultimate girls' trip.
As we think it's going to be the ultimate girls' trip, right?
Methinks it might not end up being the ultimate girls'
yeah.
trip. But I love a girls' trip, especially a Hindu. I might as well have a loyalty card for the amount of bachelorettes I've been on. But it's always kind of great when there is a little bit of drama.
Yes,
Because,
yes.
especially when you're not involved
Yes.
in the drama, and you can just like eat the popcorn.
Yeah,
on
you can
the
eat the
side,
popcorn,
and you
you're
can
just
be
on the
like,
sideline
"Woo,
going,
okay.
okay.
But have you had any funny girls' trip mishaps?
Girls' trip mishaps. Let me think. I don't know if I've had any girls' trip mishaps. I've had some really fun girls' trips. And by the way, they're very hard to organize.
Yes.
I will say that I have multiple friends in my life that we talk about doing it, and when we ultimately, when we get down to it, they're few and far between, simply because women are busy these days. We're working, we're mothers, we're doing a lot of things, and so I think that once we actually get where we're going, we really truly make the most of it. A lot of fun has been
lot of
had.
fun.
A lot of fun has been had.
A lot of fun that can't be shared.
That
Yeah.
too.
That
too.
is the key to a girls'
That's
trip.
right. What happens on the girls' trip
Stays
stays
in the
on
girls'
girls'
trip. And
trip.
at least
That's
it
right.
made it out the group chat.
That's right.
That's the struggle.
That's the struggle.
That is the struggle of life.
That is truly,
Yeah.
truly the struggle.
But I think this really touches on something, what you just said just touched on something really powerful, actually, because I think as we get older, our friendships can really take a back seat, can't they? And we can
Yeah.
be guilty of neglecting them when they're actually the things that fuel us as much as a romantic relationship,
Absolutely.
right?
And they're oftentimes the things that predate our romantic relationships, right? And yet we don't necessarily get all of the time that we want to lean into those. And so I think what's, really interesting about, this storyline specifically is like, yes, these women have this incredible shared history. They were best friends from childhood, and we can all really relate to that. And then life happens, you get married, you get a job, one goes this direction, the other one goes that direction. And then over the years, you're kind of going through life's experiences, the ups and downs, kind of on your own, maybe kind of
Yeah.
quietly, over the phone, but not necessarily sharing in person. They all live in different cities. And so I think, they all go into this experience with their best foot forward, and hoping to reconnect and to really see if this relationship is still alive and authentic. And I think they present their most perfect selves. And then as the show progresses in only the way that White Lotus can
Yeah.
and what we expect it
The
to,
layers come off.
the layers come off, the wheels come off, And, I feel like, a lot of people will enjoy this dynamic a lot. I think the power dynamic between the three women is very interesting. The way that Mike talks about that and wants to explore the way women are kind of hard on ourselves, hard on each other. We spend a lot of time judging ourselves and comparing ourselves to one another, and that was something that he definitely wanted to talk about, and I respected that.
Have you been quite harsh on yourself?
Oh
at
my
different
gosh, of
points?
course. I'm super critical of myself. And it's generally, it can be from motherhood, it can be from career, and I'm also someone at the same time have an incredible amount of pride for what I've accomplished and the success that I've had. And I think they both are okay to coexist, But I would be simply lying if I didn't say like I wasn't hard on myself, and I think it's indicative of, of how much I love what I do, how hard I work. I have a really good work ethic, and how much I love, like especially like the people in my life, and my children, my husband, friendships. I think there's always that struggle of trying to find the balance of all of that, right? And I think we've come to understand now as women, you can't have it all, not all at once. It just doesn't work that way. It's not realistic. And so the effort is really trying to just do the best that I can with what I've got in front of me. And, and sometimes you feel like you're failing at that other thing, which forces me to go like, oh gosh, you're not getting that. You got to do this, And those would be like the little things that keep me up at night, and that, that I try to be more present with, and try to work on as well.
How do you work on your inner voice to make sure it's
I
more
meditate.
positive?
I meditate. That was something that I took up several years ago. Went to a meditation teacher, and it's 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night. Sometimes I miss the one at night, but the one in the morning, it really sets my day, sets the tone for my day. Kind of waking up and just having that stillness and letting all of the thoughts kind of run through me and go past me. And to be honest, there's rarely that kind of that little, that moment where I've just completely lost everything. There's like, you're always sort of trying to seek that. But the mind is very busy. But even if I just get like a little glimpse into what that feels like and what that is, I know it's doing the inner work. So I try to really commit to that.
You've obviously worked for 25 years now in a very competitive industry. And I think traditionally it's been very much a situation where women are pitted against each
Yeah.
other. And that kind of competition feels like it was very much coming from the top-down patriarchy to try and divide.
Yes.
How have you seen
Divide and conquer.
divide and conquer? How have you seen that competition change and step forward and become something that's become about sisterhood and empowering sisterhood?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's changed a lot. Listen, it's changed a lot in the 25 years I've been in the business. It's changed because of a lot of opportunities that female producers, people, showrunners out there, writers, directors, women, for the first, honestly, for the first 10 years of my career, I don't know if I worked with another woman. I've always had traditionally male co-stars, so I was particularly excited, at this opportunity where I saw, wow, Mike's written a storyline for women in their 40s, three women in their 40s, women of a certain age, and that excited me, and it's for creatives in those positions that kind of, that make the change. When I look at instrumental moments in my career, they were women who gave me those opportunities. It, every single one.
Yeah.
Truly, the ones that really are most meaningful to me in my career have been working with female producers, female writer directors as well, and I've learned so much from them. And so it's been a complete journey, but I feel like it's one that's we've slowly been recognizing that there is a sisterhood, and there's power in numbers.
100%. I
Yeah.
really resonate with that because every situation, every jump in my career has always come thanks to a woman.
Yeah.
And I think that's so incredible that we do have incredible female leaders.
Yeah.
And it must help so much because I guess when you were starting out as well, if you're in these like male dominated spaces, it must have been quite hard to find your voice in those situations as well.
You know what? I was very fortunate. First of all, I grew up with brothers, so I had to find
You were
my
like,
voice real quick. I'm good.
I'm boot
I'm good.
camps.
I'm solid. That's
Yeah.
right. I also had the good fortune, actually, of modeling before I started acting. So that was something I did as, in my teens. As a 16-year-old, I essentially started modeling, and that, I went to journalism school from there, and then I discovered acting after that. And, I really found my backbone in those early days. So I felt like when I started acting, things would roll off me pretty quickly. I've never had a problem advocating for myself, thank God. I think that is something that my parents instilled in me. They always told me I had a good head on my shoulders, and I always felt very strong in my values and standing up for myself and others. And so, I think entering, into the industry in my mid-20s was such a benefit as well, because I had lived on my own for several years. I had a really good sense of self.
Was there a moment where you feel like proudest for advocating for yourself?
Oh, yeah, 100%. There was a time in which, the producer will go on names, but, wanted me to do some publicity that I was not, that I wasn't comfortable doing for all the right reasons. And I was adamant that I would not do it. And there was a lot of like, you're never going to work again, and I'm going to make sure this happens, and a lot of name calling. And, it was quite harsh. And I was, quite young and new to the industry. And but I've always followed my instincts. It's something that I impart with my daughter all the time, as well as my son. It's super important. And I think that was one of the very first times in the industry, in this specific industry, that I had to advocate for myself. And once I stood my ground, anything else that kind of came beyond that, I've always been able to just be able to stand firmly in what I believe in, and what I want to do.
it's so great when you have that power.
Yes.
And you know you have that power you can access.
Absolutely, it's those things that it's that, confronting, whether it's fear or a person or kind of material, anything that you don't feel like you're ready to kind of confront. When you kind of take that leap of faith and you get over that barrier, what's on the other side is such a huge learning and an empowering experience.
And it's so incredible to have that voice, have nurtured that voice and be at this stage
100%.
in your career as well, especially in the entertainment industry now where I feel like it's kind of saying you can do your best work at any
Yes,
age
it's
now.
true.
And there isn't, because there used to be this time limit, like if you don't achieve it by 30, it ain't happening, babes.
Exactly.
But now it's like it can come whenever. And how refreshing and liberating has that been?
It's exciting. Again, I never would have imagined 25 years ago that I'd still be acting. I never envisioned to have a career with such breadth, to been able to explore all the different challenges and the characters and the people that I've met and have had so many experiences. I can't even tell you how grateful I am for it. And, I was saying to my husband a couple of years ago, and he's been with me from day one. I just started acting when I met him about 24 years ago. And so we've been along, on the ride together, which has been very, very special for us. And, I said, I finally feel like, I could maybe do this for like the rest of my life. Because I love this career so, so much, that I'm not fearful that that I'll never not be able to do it. And that was such a comfortable place and a comforting thing to be able to actually verbalize, because there is that kind of that fear in anyone's career, I imagine. You go, well, can I play athletics or can I play sport, or am I always going to be able to be working at this level as a lawyer, as a doctor, or whatever it is, or as an actor? And I feel like I am. I feel like I'll be able to work as long as I desire to.